Chapter 177, The Devil Marshal City. This chapter is updated by Novels.pl. Being an elder brother wasn't easy, particularly when it came to giving welcoming gifts. Jiang Yuochen smiled slightly. He took out the Wings of Wind and the Beast Bone Bow, giving them to Yao Qingtong and Ziqian respectively. Both the Wings of Wind and Beast Bone Bow were Yu Linchong's treasures. Lu Han had killed Yu Linchong, and yet Jiang Yuochen was the one to loot these treasures from his corpse. The Wings of Wind were worth 500 merit points, which equaled 500,000 silver coins. It was definitively a valuable treasure. The Beast Bone Bow was made from the backbone of a 4th-class savage beast. This bow qualified as a 6th-level genuine martial armament and was roughly equal in value to the Wings of Wind. Since Ziqian and Jiang Yuochen were close friends, she accepted the Beast Bone Bow without any formality. Yao Qingtong looked shy in contrast. Jiang Yuochen's welcoming gift was so valuable in her eyes that she felt embarrassed to accept it. Ziqian pressed the Wings of Wind into Yao Qingtong's hands. "Junior sister apprentice Yao," she said, "don't be embarrassed on your elder brother's account. He's never short on minor cultivation resources like these." "If that's so, Qingtong will accept this gift." "Thank you, elder brother Jiang," Yao Qingtong replied, clutching the Wings of Wind tightly in her arms. With the Wings of Wind, she could easily escape from any run-ins with warriors of the Earth Realm. Jiang Yuochen stared at Ziqian and smiled. He didn't see the Wings of Wind or Beast Bone Bow as valuable treasures. Time flew by. Ziqian and Yao stayed at Dragon Martial Temple for a whole month. While 1 month passed for people on the outside, 3 months passed for Jiang Yuochen. Jiang Yuochen spent most of those 3 months in seclusion refining. He'd refined 15 3-leaf holy clovers, bringing his martial cultivation to the peak of the completion of the Black Realm. His chi lake was chock full of pure jade genuine chi. If he stopped breaking through into new realms, his genuine chi capacity would never grow any further. The chi lake between his globules had grown incomparably massive as a real lake. His genuine chi surged within this boundless ocean. Although my genuine chi capacity has reached the pinnacle of the Black Realm, I must continue refining my genuine chi to enhance its purity. Jiang Yuochen could now dash at speeds of up to 79 meters per second, his fastest record yet. If I want to break through into the ultimate realm of the Black Realm, I'll need to focus on 2 aspects in order to succeed. First, I must refine my genuine chi and physical body. Second, I must successfully master Shadow of the Royal Wind Dragon. Jiang Yuochen estimated that if he successfully mastered Shadow of the Royal Wind Dragon, his top speed would increase to 80 meters per second. If he could enhance his body's physical quality while purifying genuine chi at the same time, he had a fairly high chance of breaking through into the ultimate realm of the Black Realm. Jiang Yuochen took time out from his practice to participate in a quarterly assessment 2 weeks ago. To no one's surprise, he became the #1 student on Western Campus. From now on he would receive 10 drops of Half-Saint's Essence every quarter. This was one of the benefits of the No.1s of 4 campuses enjoyed. As before, Jiang Yuochen entered Divine Power Palace on a monthly basis to practice his spiritual power. However, this did not significantly enhance his abilities. It seemed that he had reached a bottleneck that made it hard to elevate his strength further. For the time being, he would need to keep accumulating experiences and refinements in order to build a solid foundation for his skills. Once he broke through into new realms, his power would be like a dragon surfacing from the deep sea and ascending to the heavens. During this period of time, he also practiced with the Master Verifying and Defensive Inscriptions of Space. The Defensive Inscription of Space was divided into 3 main categories: the Inscription of Shield Shapes, the Inscription of Enclosure Shapes, and Inscription of Formation Shapes. These inscription types could be continuously divided into dozens of different subcategories. Once Jiang Yuochen successfully engraved these inscriptions, his spatial ring would serve both as a storage ring and a defense of genuine martial arms. Jiang Yuochen spent a whole month practicing inside his time and space spinal. After using up hundreds, no, thousands of spiritual papers, he finally managed to engrave the Master Verifying Inscription of Space. With another day's work, Zhang Yuochen engraved both the 8 fundamental inscriptions of space and the master verifying inscription of space onto his storage bracelet, refining a brand new spatial storage treasure. Boom! Zhang Yuochen let a drop of his blood drip onto the surface of the storage bracelet. The blood drop flashed with light. The master verifying inscription of space absorbed Zhang Yuochen's blood and turned into a thin, ruby red line. The master verification was successful. From now on, no one but Zhang Yuochen would be able to open the storage bracelet, even if they stole it from him. After adding the master verifying inscription, the value of my space storage bracelet has doubled at least. With a satisfied look on his face, Zhang Yuochen continued to practice with his warding inscriptions. After completing intermediate relic exploration test, Zhang Yuochen went through a year's worth of practice in the time and space spinal over the course of 4 months. During this year he made significant improvements. Though he could only increase his speed to 79 meters per second in short bursts, he had greatly increased his fighting force and learned to use the genuine qi in his body more precisely. One day, Ziqian came to Heaven No. 1 in search of Zhang Yuochen. "Elder brother," she said, "I'm heading to Colosseum of the Martial Market in Devil Martial City to challenge warriors of Division Profound. Want to join me?" Devil Martial City. Zhang Yuochen was already planning to visit Devil Martial City in order to look for a brilliant weapon refiner that could fix his broken Abyss Ancient Sword. The Abyss Ancient Sword was an 800-year-old weapon gifted to him by Princess Kaiyao. Though the sword was broken, Zhang Yuochen wanted to continue using it so he could access the inscriptions carved on the blade. He would be able to perform the most exquisite sword techniques using the Abyss Ancient Sword. He couldn't find any capable weapon refiners in Yunwu Prefecture, so he hoped to have better luck in Devil Martial City. Devil Martial City was the largest city among the 36 prefectures of Omen Ridge, a community filled with secretive, hidden masters. Perhaps there would be some weapon refiners among them who could fix his valuable sword. Zhang Yuochen and Ziqian rode the Snowflake Eagle, a third-class lower-level savage bird. They left Western Campus and flew towards Devil Martial City. The Snowflake Eagle's strength was comparable to a warrior at mid-stage of the Earth realm. When it spread its wings, the eagle had a wingspan more than 20 meters long, its feathers shiny and white as snow. At its fastest speed, it could reach up to 90 meters per second. Zhang Yuochen hadn't purchased this Snowflake Eagle from the School of the Martial Market with his merit points. Blackie himself had subdued this savage beast in the midst of Omen Ridge. Blackie's ability had greatly increased in step with Zhang Yuochen's cultivation. When he entered his war form, his body would grow as large as a brute elephant. Even a warrior at the advanced stage of the Earth realm could not match him. Currently, Blackie had shrunk to a fist-sized lump resting on Zhang Yuochen's shoulder. He was burying his nose in a book about inscriptions for refining weapons. Blackie closed the book, stood up straight and raised his head high. "Zhang Yuochen, could I trouble you to pass me your broken sword? I might be able to fix it for you," he said, completely serious in tone. "You know weapon refinement?" Zhang Yuochen asked. "Am I not the king of slaughter? Nothing lies beyond my grasp." Zhang Yuochen fell into deep thought. After a time, he took out the 4-foot broken sword and handed it to Blackie. Blackie's round eyes glittered as he caught a glimpse of the Abyss Ancient Sword. Wrapping their claws around the sword handle, Blackie jumped off Zhang Yuochen's shoulder and landed on the Snowflake Eagle's back. Whoosh! Blackie raised the Abyss Ancient Sword and swung it around, sending wisps of sword breath flying up towards the sky as he let out a mighty roar. Blackie had attained some surprisingly high-level sword techniques. "My word, Zhang Yuochen, this sword is quite remarkable." Blackie stopped flailing around and brandished the heavy sword with his 2 claws. "Not only are the fundamental inscriptions carved on this sword," he said, "but also inscriptions of medium stage and superior level. I fear you'll need a 5th level weapon refiner at the minimum to reinfuse these particular inscription carvings. For that matter, you'll only be able to access the fundamental and medium stage inscriptions. The superior level inscription is right out." Even though an inscription had been etched onto the 9th level genuine martial arms, it was merely an elementary inscription. There were no medium level inscriptions. Only soldiers who had surpassed the need for genuine martial arms could possess medium and superior level inscriptions. So, Can you infuse it? Zhang Yuochen asked. I can certainly try. Blackie replied. With my current strength, I can only recharge 66 of the fundamental inscriptions on this sword. Once these 66 fundamental inscriptions have been restored, the power of this broken sword should be equal to a 9th class genuine martial arms. Ziqian, listening off to the side, was taken aback by Blackie's words. Could this broken sword really match a 9th level genuine martial arms? She asked. Every 9th level genuine martial arms was worth more than 10 million silver coins. There were but 3 of these items in the whole of Yunwu Prefecture. 2 of them belonged to the royal family, to be assigned to their soldiers defending the country. Most martial arts legends in the Heaven Realm used 7th level genuine martial arms. Only a select few owned 9th level genuine martial arms. Blackie stared at Ziqian. It's merely a 9th level genuine martial arms, he said disdainfully. Why raise such a fuss? Zhang Yuochen had become very anxious about finding other master weapon refiners. If Blackie could fix the Abyss Ancient Sword by himself, that would be a great help. For the time being, Zhang Yuochen handed the Abyss Ancient Sword to Blackie, trusting that he would return the sword after fixing it. Although Zhang Yuochen had solved his sword problem, he still wanted to visit Devil Marshal City. Devil Marshal City was built on the lofty mountain peaks of Omen Ridge. No country laid claim to it, as it was a city built by a multitude of suzerains, associations and powerful figures. Devil Marshal City was originally constructed by the movers and shakers of Omen Ridge as a trading center for warriors. Afterward, the 36 prefectures rose to prominence and trained up more and more warriors, which led to an endless series of super suzerains appearing around Omen Ridge. All the warriors from different commanderies joined the martial market school while still paying respect to their suzerains. This arrangement transformed a mere frontier trading outpost into a bustling center of commerce. Over time, the outpost gradually expanded into a proper city. Besides the school of the martial market, there were 2 4th-class powers, 5 5th-class powers, 12 6th-class powers and 36 7th-class powers in the Omen Ridge region. If there were any Heaven Realm martial arts legends among these factions and powers, they were probably only 7th-class powers at best. As for the inferior commanderies like Yunwu Commandery, they could be classified as 6th-class powers. Medium-level commanderies like Square Commandery were more or less 5th-class powers. These commanderies needed the power of half-saint leadership to at least be counted as 4th-class powers. Despite the power held by the school of the martial market, they weren't strong enough to rule Omen Ridge themselves. There were 2 4th-class powers with the strength that rivaled the school. These 2 4th-class powers were Yuntai Suzerain and Tai King Palace. The school of the martial market, Yuntai Suzerain, and Tai King Palace comprised the 3 most powerful parties in Omen Ridge. Except for these groups, only organizations that hid in the dark could challenge them were organizations like Black Market and Moon Worship Demonic Sect. The internal school of the martial market was built in Devil Marshal City. Once warriors became inner disciples there, they were allowed to bring their family to Devil Marshal City and become citizens. Moreover, Yuntai Suzerain and Tai King Palace had also established themselves in Devil Marshal City, giving rise to a 3-way power struggle between them and the school of the martial market. Since Devil Marshal City was full of many hidden masters, young geniuses would periodically emerge from the new generations of the populace. This city was the premier location for warriors from all 36 commanderies to meet.